and I will read it to you. Some of you who exercise at the rec center, Patricia, Ashley, Robin, sometimes walk around those in the gym, and sometimes a bird gets trapped in the place.
Oh, yes.
And it's interesting that it breaks everybody's heart. Everybody wants to save the bird, and everybody's the drama that keeps unfolding. Well, this poem is in a way like that. It's called The Writer by Richard Wilbur. You know who Richard Wilbur is? He was the second poet laureate. He's still alive. He's a very fine poet. He followed Robert Penn Warren as the second poet laureate of the United States. The Writer. In her room at the prow of the house, where light breaks and the windows are tossed with linden, my daughter is writing a story. I pause in the stairwell, hearing from her shut door a commotion of typewriter keys, like a chain hauled over a gunwale. Young as she is, the stuff of her life is a great cargo, and some of it heavy. I wish her a lucky passage. But now it is she who pauses as if to reject my thought and its easy figure. A stillness greatens in which the whole house seems to be thinking. And then she is at it again with a bunched clamor of strokes, and again is silent. I remember the dazed starling, which was trapped in that very room 2 years ago. How we stole in, lifted a sash, and retreated not to affright it. And now, for a helpless hour, through the crack of the door, we watched the sleek, wild, dark, and iridescent creature batter against the brilliance, drop like a glove to the hard floor or the desktop, and wait then, humped and bloody, for the wits to try it again. And how our spirits rose when, suddenly sure, it lifted off from a chair back, beating a smooth course for the right window and clearing the sill of the world. It is always a matter, my darling, of life and death, as I had forgotten. I wished what I had wished you before, but harder.
Oh, that's
Nice.
That's beautiful.
But the bird battered felt the blood time means it's gonna die.
Yeah, they
Bird
often
don't-
do die, yeah.
I've never seen well, come on the back porch, I just catch him by hand against the screen and toss him out.
But what a wonderful, powerful metaphor of someone
yes.
Yeah.
struggling,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
a writer's block, especially a young person. His daughter is a real person. Her name is Ellen, and she writes short stories of her own. But she was in middle school when he wrote this poem. I mean, he was,
Is she a good writer?
He actually, but she's a very good writer, and of course he's quite famous.
It's interesting that this starts out where it's a ship metaphor,
Yes,
and then, but it shifts then to a bird.
it has a lot of nautical ones, like
Yeah.
life is sailing a ship. I guess we don't know what's.
But you also think of the albatross on the Shelley poem with the
You mean the
water,
Rhyme of the
water
Ancient
everywhere, and I
Mariner?
dropped, yeah, the ancient mariner, Rhyme of the ancient mariner.
The ancient mariner.
And
Well-
then they shut the albatross and edit. They shouldn't
Anyway,
do
I think
that.
it's a fine poem, and he's written, you
That's
know, a
glorious.
dozen poetry books. He's still alive. He's in his 90s now.
95.
It's
And would you actually use "and retreated not to affright it"?
Affright is a funny word.
It is, I almost never hear it, but it's perfect.
We
in
know
that
what it means
poem.
in that context. I like the line that a stillness greatens
Yeah,
in
that's
which
it.
the whole
Mhm.
house seems to be thinking. And that's what
Yeah,
it is. That's-
it's-
it's
No, it's-
wonderfully
it's-
evocative.
it's lovely
Usages
if-
that are perfect.
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely beautiful poem. I would give a little finger to have written it. Let me indulge your
Oh, I thought you
patience.
did, I missed that. Yeah, I thought you did write it.
No, I didn't write. I wish I had written it. My God, I would love to have written it.
You read it really well.
I bring greetings to you from Joseph Rota, who says he misses you all and asked me to bring his greetings and to tell you that he's achieving fame, if not fortune, because he's publishing poems again, and he's
Aw.
publishing them quite widely. He's got 4 or 5 poems that have been accepted for publication, and he urges us all to think about publishing our poems. Some of us are not interested in doing that, but some of us probably should. And he got a poem. Is there time for me to read it now? Sure, I'll wait till the end.
Oh,
Go
read it
ahead.
now.
Yeah?
You said it, so you have
Don't
to
worry about
say
this guy's
it.
off.
All right, I don't want to monopolize. He was inspired by a musical event that he went to, and he came home and wrote this poem. It's called How to Open a Door, Joseph Rota. The mystery hides behind the closed door. Death may be waiting there, or love, or magic, or nothing but the mundane. What if I open the door and I see Hildegard von Bingen? I don't know if you know who she is. She's a 11th, 12th century mystical nun who wrote classic
He
texts.
didn't put a footnote in there, don't put a footnote in there.
Hey,
No, I want to.
I'm
Well, I knew that too,
but most people don't know who Hildegard von Bingen is.
Our first name basis there.
I see Hildegard von Bingen standing there. I would ask her so many questions, but not in the lingua ignota, unknown language. Not in the lingua ignota she
Can't
invented.
help it.
I would ask why in the millennium since she was born, women have been subjugated, dominated, rejected, or why the Pope who named her doctor of the church was deaf to her message and blind to her sex. I know Hildegard is not there with her blue shawl, but if her Ordo Virtutum is playing on the radio, she wrote music too, is she not there? I can hear her melismatic music and angelic voices singing verses she composed. Still I hesitate to open the door. If it's closed, I can imagine the impossible. Butterflies making love to unicorns. Lovely. Hourglasses with a cork keeping the sand forever stuck in my happiest moment and not allowing time to flow wickedly. The sense of smell brings me back to the now. I know all I have to do is to turn the doorknob, release the latch, and push the door open, but I linger. The fictional does not move me. What does is the real life that I live today and your acts of love that flatter me like the smell of bread in the oven or the aroma of coffee you brew for me. It is not the coffee harvested in plantations, sold and mixed in bulk for bucks. It's coffee brewed from beans picked one by the worn, soil-stained hands of a Zapotec farmer whose ancestors farmed the same land since before the Spanish conquistadors arrived and destroyed the world they knew. It is coffee from Miahotian field of cornflowers from a family farm on the slopes of the Cerro de la Palma and pluck their own farmer Feather Hill, where eagles used to come to lay their eggs and pluck their own feathers to build their nests. It is coffee with hints of vanilla, chocolate, ancho, cilantro, herba santa, papala, pepicha, don't know what that is. Images of dahlias, passion flowers, and orchids, and memories of a time when Zapotec were kings. I know how to open the door to the dreams, the ideas, the thoughts that inspire me so I can live the present fully. But the first thing I will do is hug you, touch your lips, caress you softly, eat your bread, drink your coffee, understanding that the now is all we have.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a powerful poem, and anyway, the people he sent it to loved it, and they immediately published it, so it's already been
Really?
published.
But why did it say, why was this phrase blind to her sex, but from the Pope? I thought that there would be a really terribly beneficial, a very beneficial outlook to her.
To open the door?
No, to be
No.
blind to her sex.
Oh. Your question is
I'm just
what?
saying is that you made
What?
it sound like it was
Says the Pope.
castigating the Pope rather than if the Pope is blind to your sex. I think that'd be great for a woman.
Well,
No,
he
not in
was-
the way that it's meant.
He didn't mean it that way. He
Yeah.
meant the Pope should get with the program and allow women
Well,
to be
no,
priests.
I understand what Chris is saying, is that it shouldn't have made any difference to him, whether she was male, female,
Well, that,
or
yeah,
cross
good point.
purposes,
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, sure, should be
That
blind.
he
like
should have
Justin.
been, you know, like you say, you're colorblind, and few people are.
Yeah.
But her sex should have had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And that's,
You're-
I think
you're-
that's
you're
what
right.
she's
It should
saying.
be
Yeah,
like
and-
justice
That'll
to
be
be
long
blind.
time.
And that's what
That'll be
Frank,
very long.
Anyway, Joe gets better and better,
Pope Frank.
and he's getting more and more famous as we.
He still writes as though he's citing from his Google. He Googles things.
Yeah.
And he spits it back to you. And so I've never been one of his fans, I acknowledge it to begin with. As a poet, he's a great historian and writer and whatever, but
Yeah, I think it's prose rather than
Yeah,
poetry.
it's never
But-
really
I thought you
Yeah,
were
But-
and it's
but
erudite,
Sven-
it has lots of allusions, and,
Sven-
Spirit of Joe's.
it's not my cup
Oh,
of
okay.
tea. but-
Sven, wouldn't you
Oh, do you wanna
still
go
say
there?
it's
Yeah, I
changed?
don't know how you wanna
He's,
go. Bob,
he's
you wanna go
changed
there?
his poem, his poetry has changed quite a bit since he's first started in our group.
it's a little less personal history. It's more general history, you know. But again, it's like opening up the Google and he lists what he finds in the Google. And
And he does do that, yeah.
it's okay, it's okay.
well, to a certain extent anyway, we're making these citations in our,
That's okay with me.
In the spirit of, as a follow-up to Joe's poem, I'd like to ask Robin to go next, and then we'll go to Robin. I also wrote in a different genre today. I decided I wanted to do some love poetry.
Oh.
And I had never done this kind of thing. I normally do either Zen type poetry or social consciousness stuff, but I've been picking up, must have picked up from Joe and his love and stuff at the end, and also picked up a little bit of Hildegard as well, which is kind of fascinating, and a little bit of mystical poetry. So in the spirit of that, I have two poems. If you'd indulge me, I'm going to do two because I haven't been around for a while.
That's a good reason.
And the first one is called Where Will I Find You?
Wait till we get them all distributed.
Oh, wait a minute, here.
First poem
There's
is
extras.
poem is called Where Will I Find You? Where will I find you after you die? Surely in the bed where we both did lie, in the garden by the tulips, in the fragrance of flowers, and in the taste of the rain during midday showers. I will hear you in the sounds of the morning songbirds, and in the prayers of our grandchild, most loving of words. You'll be there in the evening in the sparkle of starlight, and in the flicker of the candle on our table at night. In the forest by the river I will feel you in its flow. I'll look around and you'll be there where the tall trees grow. When the wind whispers, I love you, it's your voice I will hear. Wherever I am, there will be nothing to fear. You're near. But most of all in the silence, when noises are few, when there's peace in my heart, I will know that it's you. We're together today, we'll be forever till the end, when we'll meet on a cloud and make love once again.
Oh,
That's
that
really
is
sweet.
precious.
Great rhyme, the rhyme don't
Yeah.
interfere with the flow of the poem, which is
Good.
Rudy, because sometimes rhymes stick out like sore thumbs, but they don't here. They're really quite nice.
I like that punctuation.
Very-
No, it's a great
Very
poem.
different from your usual.
Yes, it is,
Zen.
yeah, I'm trying to. And on the back is, in the spirit of Hildegard, one of the desert mystics of the Catholic Church. There's also, this is in the model of Hafez, if you've read any of Hafez, a Sufi poet, and also Rumi, where they talk about their relationship to God as the beloved. And they're very sexual, as they're very romantic kinds of things, much in the tone of the Psalms of the Old Testament. But this one's called We Don't Make Love with Our Clothes On. Every morning as I awake, covered and afraid, I feel it, a warm, loving embrace from my beloved. And then he whispers to me how much I am loved, and he will be holding me all day long. There is nothing I need do. He says to be loved, there is only to be myself. And as the day moves, so do I, flowing. I am carried, naked, and empty as one, vulnerable, knowing fully that being exposed is the only way we can consummate such divine love.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely.
That reminds me of Elizabeth Bishop, who wrote some very powerful love poems, mostly to her female lover, but they're used in heterosexual weddings and stuff because they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Quite
And
nice.
you've followed your desire to have a kind of a smaller stanzas.
If you read any of the Hafiz poems,
Yeah,
they're
I like
just
that.
words in the center of the page that
Yeah,
come
it's
down.
very powerful.
Yeah,
Don't
and each
have
word
that yet,
was
but I'd
meant to
like
be
to.
kind of a meditation. But anyway, that was my attempt at some love poetry today.
In the last line where you say divine love,
Mhm.
that gets one thinking about divine or divinity. And I just wondered if that's supposed to reflect back in some way.
Actually, it's meant to have you decide.
So actually, it's a poem to one's imagination?
Of course.
Right.
Thank you.
That's
Very
nice.
nice.
Right, here we
Lovely.
go. I accidentally dressed to match my poem. I noticed this happen and I was like, whoa. Okay, I was surprised. Okay.
I'm glad you didn't write a poem about nudity.
Did you see?
Yes.
There's a
I did
sign
not.
on the old Tom house on East State that clothes are optional beyond this point. The old Tom house, old Tom brick house on East State. It's gorgeous brick, Victorian. It's so neat.
Okay. Lifelines. Amish cyclists, single file, boys in lines, wide rim hats. Sunday morning they spin tires across a Pennsylvania bridge. I'm stuck in traffic down below in endless lines on the interstate. Geese spread out a feathered ribbon traversing the Ohio River. Someone must call out the orders, beaks to tails, each bird lines up. Like kindergarten kids in May, they know how to walk straight in the hallway. An artist lays out his set of brushes, dots his paints upon the palette. He works with lines of pencil and coal, sketching the beginnings on the canvas. A child sets down her crayons in line to order the colors, then revise them again. I catch the orange line to the city. At Clark and Lake I make a change, standing on the loop, shoulder to shoulder, with riders watching for their trains. Cars on trains and trains in lines, seats on board to the side and behind. Lines of wires on New York skies, crisscrossing over and under signs. Dozens of blackbirds land and lift. Clotheslines string out from windows high. Light prints lines on the buildings, shared designs throughout the city. 5 staff lines are printed on paper, relentless pages, black and white sheets. On our old piano, the path of ivory keys and sideways ladder of black ebonies erupt when fingers break up the rules. Step out of line, we can improvise.
Okay, so how is what you wore related to
That's
that?
lines.
Lines,
Lines,
lines, lines.
Okay.
I just was like,
Line,
oh.
Can't see the last line.
On
Way
my
on your
feet.
feet, yeah,
Yes.
can't see, can't see.
I don't know, it was, that was it.
That's really beautiful, Robin.
Oh, just came up with that yesterday.
I like your last,
You have something else?
Three words.
Is that coming this way?
I think so, yeah.
yeah.
I just wanted to ask the on-board. There are so many possibilities to use that. It's in
Where?
the fourth stanza, the last line. Seats on board. It could be separated on board or hyphenated or together. And I wasn't quite sure what to do with that.
So it looks okay.
Yeah, I think, I'm good with
It was
this.
like
One more.
that, and I just.
Are we around?
Design.
Where is the guy if the center isn't there? I was feeling rather in chaos with all this dumb politics going on, all the murders and shootings and misbehavings and screaming and crying and all this crap going on in the real world. I was unhappy. Gravity is supposed to be pan-universal. Is that, that's moronic. Universal is pan, is across, but, well, I meant.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Just
well,
go
yeah,
ahead.
whatever, pan universal. Yet there is no tether to tie me to me or any other world. Adrift emotionally, physically abyssal. No wallow peeking from swirled rainbows, arching between ephemeral realities. Even horizons, nothing escaping light. But I escape those concentrations of crushed principalities, floating in a wave tight with lost atomic weights. What a physics. Chemistry.
Where's the gyre?
Well, I adore that. Isn't that Yates 2? What? Isn't that Yates 2, turning into a winding gyre? The falcon cannot hear the falconer.
I know
Things
that-
fall apart, the center cannot hold.
Yeah, the
Your
center
anarchy is
cannot
loosed,
hold,
but
yeah.
the blood and tide,
I
Jesus is
think
loosed.
in the second line, yet there is no tether to tie me to mine or any other world.
Mine?
No.
Mine world?
Mine
Wouldn't say
world.
mine
No,
world.
but it doesn't read right, my or any other world. It just doesn't,
No, you're right there. But mine, no one owns a world, though.
I know, but to tether me to any other world or mine, you would say.
Yes.
You put a comma after my and other,
Or you could just move the word
make to
world.
my, to, or any other parenthetical.
Just
Or
move
it
the
could
word
be
world,
to tether,
make it
to
read
tie me to,
to tie me to my world
Or any other, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
mine or any other's world.
Yeah, I think it's that, or any other stuck in there that is sort of throwing me off.
Okay.
Just the sound of it,
I did put in the world, and that was a line awful long, but I agreed that it is a clumsy line.
Abyssal.
What are atomic
Dumb question,
weights?
what does gyre mean?
Gyre is a circle. It's basically like a tide pool between the winding gyre. You think something's going around a point, and just by the speed and centripetal force, it's being
Like a top, kind of.
Or like a gyroscope.
Yeah, gyroscope. Or think of vultures circling prey.
Oh, goodness.
And does it mean a decreasing,
I'm not positive about that. I just know it from the poem,
diameter?
and the fact that many writers quote the line and don't know what it's from or what it means. And tends to fry me.
Maybe because we think of a diminishing guy from the poem. I always think of it as getting smaller as it comes down, but,
Well, yeah, and it's supposed to be decreasing in diameter because the falcon can't hear the falconer.
yeah, he's
The
circling
birds-
down to,
Yeah, and he's got the bird on a tether to its leg. And so the bird is not free.
I'm sorry, I don't
As birds
identify
should be.
Waldo.
Where is Waldo?
Yeah.
Where's Waldo?
Who is Waldo?
It's a cartoon, a
Kid.
child's cartoon in which there's this grand kaleidoscope of figures, so it's sort of like who's the Dutch artist that does all those many figured paintings?
Bruegel.
Bruegel, yeah.
Pointillious.
Well, no, it's sort of like that, but Waldo is stuck in some spot and he's supposed to find Waldo.
Yeah, it's a very busy
Picture, black and white,
of
usually
all
black and
little
white.
tiny things, and Waldo
and
is
there's
hiding in there
always there
somewhere.
among them.
Where's
You've
Waldo?
You've missed out on your
You
education.
recognize he's quite different than everybody else, but it's, and,
Kids love it.
Yeah,
yeah.
and it is sort of fun. It's sort of,
Yeah.
it's sort of similar to, remember in the old highlights, the pictures with things hidden in the barks of things?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's wrong with this picture? How does this picture differ from, you know, the other one? All those challenges.
Oh, I like this title already.
Is this Nan's?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, I should show you this then.
There's an extra.
What are you holding that green thing up?
I think after reading this, I should show you this, but it's something I saw on Facebook. It says,
Yes.
synonym rolls, just like grammar used to make.
Synonym rolls.
Synonym, like grammar used to make.
Well, I'm sorry, this is not a funny one, so
That's
people who are all ready to laugh can sober up.
You're gonna be disappointed.
Snap two.
The case of the missing grandmother. Where's my grandma anyway? She used to visit, come and play. Or at least there'd be a homemade card under the tree. I know she got lost writing a book, but is she really truly all forsook? Is she dead and they won't say? Or did I make her mad one day? I wish she'd call or send a note that would give me a little hope that one fine day I will see my grandma coming back to me.
Do you have some grandchildren, Nan? Nan, do you have some grandchildren?
I have 4, yeah.
Oh, how old are they?
One's probably 9, and one's probably 13, and one of them's probably 16, and one of them's probably 22.
Wow, okay.
Big spread.
Probability continuum.
Yeah. Oh. Guess I have to send out a
Does
poem.
this relate to your grandmother or you as a grandmother? Are you writing this kind of as you as a grandma or as a grandmother, your grandmother?
Oh, that's the mystery, isn't it?
I should have known you'd say something like that, okay.
Poems have to be this is a little bit ineffable.
Well, but poems with the first person singular pronoun are not necessarily autobiographical.
Yeah. I just wondered if that was coming from there somewhere in particular.
Well, that could
That's all.
well be.
It's an emotion we all.
You were just being kind of nosy.
I was being nosy.
Passing out
Didn't get
poems
me
is the
anywhere
same.
though, did it?
Any poem should make you feel
I don't know what's happened then.
I don't know what's happening. What's going on over there, Ruth?
I actually got some help printing this today.
And you need more.
And now I've discovered, as I look at this, that these didn't come with a second page except for one.
And I've got it.
And you got it. All right, so everybody's gonna get just a first page except for you. Patricia, you get the full one.
He's special.
Yeah, here.
So did they double print the first page?
They just didn't print the second page.
Oh, so.
I mean, it was supposed to print on the back side of the first page.
It's computer plotting against us. You know they do it, they do.
Did you print it here?
Yes,
Oh, boy. Oh,
with
boy.
help.
Maybe the second page is out there in the machine.
Or they're in the ether, out in the
That might be
air.
possible.
Or maybe
You have extras
the
on the first
great
page.
editor in the sky decided that your poem needed to end.
Yeah.
Page.
I did debate that when I was writing it anyways, I'll tell you honestly.
If you change the margins, you probably, I don't know the size of your other.
Well, we're not gonna do it now,
Probably.
so it doesn't
No,
matter.
Right.
for next time, you can change your margins
Another
and you
time.
probably fit it
No,
all in one.
Okay,
as long as Ruth has the second one, we'll.
that's right,
You could
that's
also
right.
do it without spaces between your lines, instead of double spacing your lines. You could
Well,
also print it in 9 and 4-point type.
No,
Lots of ways you
no,
could fit.
Read your damn poem and shut these people up.
I just wanted to say, like you, Chris, I was really upset by the events of the week.
It was crappy.
And so, really, I had to turn off the news and walk out the back door and go into my garden. So this poem came about. Come, come, it's July in my garden. The majestic daylilies gone already, their dried stalks plucked, as too the snarl of dried leaves below the green ones. It's my work, and the heat delicious. I pick a small round orange sungold, so sweet and wet to eat. Try one. Saffron cosmos volunteers crowd. The flowering tomatoes, peppers, and perfume basil. 6 fat, commanding Brussels sprouts plants. What possessed me? Tower over the elegant Japanese eggplants. The green loofah vine, a true curiosity, thrives and climbs up the leaning bamboo poles against the cream-colored stucco. The white goosenecks, descendants of those in my mother's garden, have run amok. Poor St. Francis. Only his kindly stone face peers serenely over them. The darling. Above him, in the persimmon tree, small green orbs of fruit have just appeared, still far from their plump orange ripeness, like the young cicada-pruned apple tree, dangling 3 firm half-grown apples. Its verse, on one delicate branch, I cup them and pray they live. There is so much goodness and hope here in this small yard, on this ordinary Midwestern street, in this world where people have forgotten about gardens where death comes too quickly anyway. But while these living plants grow and flower, bear fruit and decline, they are magnificently giving, filling our lives with beauty, magic, and sustenance. I water them faithfully and try to pay attention.
Wow.
Oh, which was that, what atomic weight was?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, that you can't, it's difficult to get the news from poems, but men die a miserable death for want of what is in there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that there is something that poetry like yours can bring us, especially in times of the kind of chaos we're facing. Because, and I think it's very important that we retreat to our gardens and to our poems. And, you know, I think we do a disservice to continually watch this crap and read this garbage that's going, particularly watching it.
Well, I really feel that.
We have chaos in our house. This
All
is a little bit. Deborah, our house cat was a brat who wittingly escaped out our door.
racing to unknown places to explore, darting off into the dark night from our home to scope the neighborhood while out on the roam. She was gone for 2 long days, keeping our household in a haze, after holding our hearts in a state of frantic, and 2 days of painful panic. You'd think we would receive an apology, but all we got was a cat experiencing starvation, deprivation of attention, and exhaustion. What we got upon her return was a cat who wanted a double serving of food, a triple serving of petting to improve her mood, and a full night of uninterrupted sleep.
It was a pre-narcissist.
We took lost cat flyers to all our neighborhood. Deborah ignored our calls on each street for kitty, 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 kitty. She evaded our neighbors' searching eyes that proved her to be so witty. Now, we thank each neighbor for their help and concern. We have hope that we and our Deborah have learned. Upon entering our door, we've learned to stomp our foot to scare her back in. She has learned to come back home before she gets too thin, which is proved by our 2 short-term escapes for 1 to 2 hours since her 2-day escapade, when both times she returned on her own initiative without our aid. We, all 3, have learned how very important we are to each other. We've learned our bond is strong as loving our sisters and brothers. We've learned that our mutual love is expressed through our cuddling, her purring, our hugging, and her snuggling.
There's a love poem.
Oh dear, yes.
Anyway,
Whatever the title is.
Plus words.
In the interest of being discreet, we had arranged our rendezvous in a coffee house off the beaten path. First to arrive, I selected a table secluded on a small balcony, 7 or 8 steps up from the main floor, and waited. He entered, searched for me, then crossed the floor to join me. Just as he started up the stairs, the string of beads I had been twisting, winding and unwinding around my fingers broke. The heavy agate beads flowed off the string like water. They bounced and flounced on the slate floor tiles. They rattled and chattered past his feet down the steps, ringing and pinging on each one. They rolled off the balcony edge, dropping and plopping into tables and chairs, into coffee cups and sandwich plates, onto the slate floor, to hop and pop about startled feet with no interest in being discreet.
very discreet.
Oh, I can just
I'm
imagine
admired.
that.
You
I've
can see
had that happen to
Yeah.
me, but not entirely, but yeah.
This incident itself did not happen, but I did break this string of beads in a room with a slate floor. And I think some of them are still bouncing. This was 25, 30 years ago.
You might find one still.
Well, what did it do to your relationship?
Well, that you have to sort that out
Well, the rest
yourself.
of the
Yes.
papers in the place, these things plumbing into their food and into the
They're
water.
discreet
Right.
for you.
Need more practice in being discreet.
Or being ladylike, retiring.
Oh, I was being, the person in here, the I, was being retiring. It's the beads that were causing the problem.
Oh, of course, it's all the beads, always the beads fault.
Literally, and that's why I
That's
wrote-
pretty good, it looks like you got them all back.
Well, there were a lot of people helping me.
Cats, however, would not be useful.
No, but actually, when I put this string of beads on this morning, that's what set this poem off.
You
Okay.
must
So
have
you just
gotten up
wrote it this
early.
morning? You
Yeah.
wrote this morning?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's great. It was a great affair, wasn't it?
But that's why, the title is what it is.
I didn't get a poem written for this week. Hopefully
Sometimes
the
we
next
don't.
time I'll finish it. But I did receive a poem from one of my sons, and I liked it.
Oh, that's nice, it's a family thing.
Poetry's contagious.
The joy of absence. I'm feeling like I dodged a bullet with hip-hop Hamilton, like the guy who hiked the Appalachian Trail and now cares little for the trappings of current culture or material ownership. Luddites, hermits, and mountaintop monks have it right, I think. Just a living meditation without doodads, iPhones, or discussions about fleeting pop icons, planned obsolescence, or Kardashian realities. The only alternative reality I need lives in art, books and films, games and sonatas, dancing and landscapes, and the arts of mind and body. Musicals delight, but missing the hot ticket or the newest must-have leaves me fuller somehow as the sun recedes over the horizon.
Wow. That's a well-stated position.
Does anyone know anyone who's seen Hamilton?
What?
Does anyone know anyone who's seen Hamilton in our small artsy group here?
Oh. Oh, no, I don't.
Nobody, and I don't know, none of us have it. Have anyone known anyone who has seen it?
I think I overheard some people talking about having seen it, but I don't.
You don't know them personally or?
Yes,
or
I
but
know somebody who's seen it twice.
Did they say it was good?
They said it was fabulous. Yeah,
Well, I
that's why
thought-
they went twice.
Yeah.
I thought that thing about with what's his face doing that after the Dallas shooting, that love is love is love is love, was truly heartbreaking.
Well, this was it's kind of odd to hear your son talk about as the sun recedes over the horizon. You know, oh my God, this is funny.
That's really fun.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think I've receded.
Okay. Slow. Slowly.
Thanks, Mike. I'll come out of your stuff. The usual
Okay,
appendages.
made its way around.
And extras.
We have Earth. Drive a shovel into the earth, wounding and airing my foundation. Worms may be sliced, grubs displayed, microscopic life there in the gap. I dig in with my fingers, damp and graininess there, sharp sand between fingers and silt under fingernails. Host to all non-aquatic life, the topmost layer smells of eternity, nurtured by life's refuse, a locus of transformation. Life is transformation, the habitat of energy changes. Dead birds and squirrels enrichen with the bones and ashes of all life's forms. Earth, welcome me. I will fit, I will belong. You will be my future, and I'll be part of yours.
Yeah.
Well, I've always liked the idea of being left for birds who are like in the India on the
Scaffolds.
yeah. I'd rather be just tossed out in the woods than I think graveyards, burials, all the money of funerals is a bunch of hokum.
That's a great line, Earth, welcome me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we have the style rejected. ought to be transformed, a crest on the top of my head, an arm with stripes and figures and all the basic colors, ears with manageable flaps. My eyes see all colors except that human spectrum called black. That doesn't fit if our future shall smile.
Okay.
I don't know what your second poem means.
Thank you, because I wanted to ask a question.
It's like a New Yorker poem.
Okay.
I'm impressed by it, but mystified by it. Can you tell me a little more about what you were trying to say? Or do you want to let it stand just as it is?
Oh,
No, he wants
don't give him
explanation.
that option.
No. He has to,
This is poem.
It says various things.
First of all-
It has to do with tattoos.
What?
It has to do with Black Lives Matter. It has to do with personal satisfaction or dissatisfaction.
Okay, all right.
but
I'm getting it.
it's actually moronic ones, the first 3 lines and the last 2. I mean, humans are all one species. We are not subspecies. We are not any sort of different breeding groups. And that's the same thing with black, white, pink, purple, and red. And but
Sven, are you
oh
done?
yeah, it's in the
I can
previous smiles.
understand the arms with stripes and figures, that's the tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Explain manageable ears to me.
Manageable flaps.
Can you wiggle?
A flapped cat.
There are some who can.
I have a friend who can wiggle
Yeah.
one and then the other, and not, I can
Yeah.
make the 2 of them together go up and down.
And the point is that some people try.
For some reason.
Yeah,
Some people try to do that.
and others don't.
Right.
Stretch.
I saw this poem a little bit differently. I saw the first stanza as being a police officer.
Me
The
too.
crest on a hat
There you go.
and the stripes on the arm. And that police officer can see everyone except someone named Black or called Black, and it doesn't fit. That information doesn't fit. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, well, that's not where I began, but it is vague,
No, but
it is ambiguous, it is designed to be. Right?
It's very evocative. It does what poems are supposed to do. It makes you think.
Right.
I also want to comment on the first poem too, which I often think about all of the life, all kinds of life that is in a very small scoop of dirt that we take for granted as we move all this dirt around and build buildings on top of it, and all the life that's down below that, life on top of life that's gathered underneath all of this dirt, and the various eons of civilizations and people and animals that have all been there, and we just toss it around.
Yeah, and I get my hands in it and I feel at home.
Well, the diversity is also very much necessary for growing a garden. I mean, if you have totally sterile soil, it basically won't grow until it's gotten inoculation of stuff and bugs in it and stuff. It's like our gut itself. If we have a totally sterile gut, you'll probably die. We need that great biome of stuff that's digesting other stuff and should we help other stuff along to survive?
Well, there could be a second poem about the various ways in which this earth has been treated by humans. Destroyed in many, many ways, but, that's another poem.
Go for it.
I just wanted to ask, how did you feel about using transformation twice so closely together there? Did you consider alternate words that you might have chosen, but you,
No.
you wanted to repeat
You wanted
that?
to repeat it.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you pass it on, Kathy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, it works,
Trying to think.
you know, but that old rule sometimes
Oh, yeah, sure.
bugs
Yeah,
you.
you gotta know the rules so that when you break them, you're doing it knowledgeably.
Yeah.
Everybody has one, right? All right, this is the outcome of someone in the group that said, here, I think you'll enjoy this book. And I took one of the chapter titles and something written in that chapter and turned it into a poem. 40 words. Words, they are all around us every day, every hour. Words travel in order to be heard. They're on a tour. How far will they go? Do they move like a doe? Not all words that we hear are fun. Fortunately, some act like the sun. Other words cause anguish. Different ones are outlandish. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Many of us heard this when we were children. Is it true? Hear this plea. If you were called names, it went deep down. Do you agree? Pain and hurt may have remained for years. You tried to flee. Words, they are powerful. Do any words go unsung? It's said there's the power of life and death in the tongue. Words can build up or tear down. Words, use them to make a crown. 40 words. In 40 words, a very powerful message was given. If you had 40 words to give a message, would you feel driven? What 40 words would you select? Grandiose, hard to pronounce? What message would you give? One to pounce, trounce, or announce? Once a great teacher was asked a question. To trick him was the goal. He responded with 40 words and gave a great lesson, one for their soul. The question? Which is the greatest of the commandments? The questioner didn't expect the answer to cause his advancement. The answer? 40 words. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I'm not calling it a footnote, but the 40 words were spoken by Jesus and are recorded in the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 37 to 39.
How many words did it take in Aramaic?
I don't know. But I do know from the English version, which is what I was using. You had a question, comment?
No, I just forgot what I was going to say, but give me a minute again. I'm sorry.
Sure.
What's going on?
The book that I'm referring to is one that Chris gave me, lent me.
That's yours.
And oh, it's mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay,
thought
or
you
give me
loaned
$5
it
if you want to.
to me.
I got it free, so it's based on. You still can do that. Or by
Well, and
lunch today.
I'll see if anybody else would like to borrow it. It's called Rediscover Jesus, an Invitation, and I think it's interesting that several of the comments and poems kind of touched on things. Catholicism was mentioned this morning. That was in here. That is the basis of the book. But I like this comment on the back. It says, best Lent ever. Don't give up chocolate for Lent this year.
Yes, that's good thinking.
Yeah. So if anybody would like to borrow it, it's an easy read. And it has some very interesting stuff in it. And it does come from a rather Catholic perspective, but it's good. It has some good stuff.
Thank you.
You knew about Hildegard from before, didn't you? So did I, but we must have been little Catholic boys together, at least as a kid.
I was not a Catholic, and I knew who it was.
Did you? Okay, I just